Hi guys, welcome back to MovieRecap. In this video, I'm going to recap one of the films from 2017, Nails. Without any further, let's get started. At the start of the film, we are introduced to a couple, Dana Milgrom and her husband Steve. Dana works as a track coach and is very dedicated to fitness. One day, while out for a run, she is suddenly hit by a driver while crossing the street, and the car speeds off. She later regains consciousness in the hospital, where it's revealed that she has been in a coma for nearly 2 weeks. Her body is badly injured, her legs are paralyzed, and she is dependent on a ventilator connected through a tracheal tube to stay alive. Since she cannot speak, she communicates using a speech synthesis device. Steve helps her get used to it and reassures her that he'll do everything he can to bring her back home soon. That night, while alone in her room, Dana wakes up after hearing unusual sounds. That's when she notices something. Someone is in the room. A shadowy figure stands silently in the corner. Moments later, the door suddenly shuts by itself, startling her. The next day, Dana explains that she has now been in the hospital for 18 days and insists she wants to go home. Around that time, a nurse assistant named Trevor enters for her routine check. Dana tells him about the person she saw the previous night, but after checking the closet, Trevor finds no one there. He assures her that no patient from that section could have entered her room. Soon after, Steve arrives at the hospital with their daughter, Gemma. When they enter Dana's room, Trevor mentions to Steve that Dana may be experiencing hallucinations due to her medication and suggests she speak to a psychiatrist. Steve asks Dana about what happened, and she explains that someone was watching her, but she couldn't turn her head to get a clear look. Steve assumes it might have been the sound of the ventilator. Meanwhile, Gemma wanders around the hospital and eventually reaches another room. She senses that someone is inside. Suddenly, an alarm goes off, causing her to drop her belongings. As she bends down to pick them up, she notices a pair of feet standing nearby. Before anything else happens, the hospital director, Elizabeth, arrives and takes her away. Later, Gemma returns to Dana's room, and the family prepares to leave for home. That night, Dana is suddenly attacked by an unseen presence, but just as quickly, it disappears. She then becomes frightened upon seeing a man sitting beside her. It turns out to be Dr. Ron Stengel, who explains that she was clinically dead for 3 minutes before being revived by paramedics. Dana reveals that during that time, she felt as if the dead were surrounding her, holding her down, and scratching into her skin with their nails. Dr. Stengel reassures her that she is safe now and that nothing will harm her. However, later that night, as Dana lies in bed, the closet door slowly begins to open on its own. Inside, the same entity appears and starts moving toward her. It reaches her ventilator and bends the tube, causing it to malfunction. Dana struggles to breathe, begins choking, and eventually loses consciousness. The following day, Dana tells Steve that someone had turned off her machine, and this time, she actually saw him. She doesn't know who he was, but she describes him as having long arms and a horrifying face. Soon after, a man arrives to install cameras in her room. He explains how the system works so she can monitor things herself. While looking through the footage, Dana ends up seeing her own condition after the accident for the very first time. Just then, Steve receives a phone call. After finishing the conversation, he tells Dana it was Ashley. Moments later, he notices Elizabeth on one of the cameras and steps outside to speak with her. Elizabeth explains that no one switched off the machine. It simply malfunctioned. This frustrates Steve, and he angrily tells her to make sure Dana is properly taken care of. That night, Dana grows restless and bored. Suddenly, she hears a noise. Thinking it might be another patient, she tries to communicate, but no one responds. Curious, she begins searching the hospital's history online. During her search, she comes across an old group photo of children, and among them, she recognizes the same man who attacked her. She learns his name, Eric Nelson. He had committed suicide after murdering several children. The next morning, Trevor returns for Dana's routine check. She asks him about Eric Nelson, but he says he's never heard of him and knows nothing about the story. He suggests that if she wants answers, she should speak with Dr. Stengel. Dana then asks about the patient in the next room. Trevor tells her it's an elderly woman named Ellie, who recently suffered a stroke. Later, while reviewing the camera footage, Dana notices scratch marks on her thigh. The sight terrifies her. Trevor tries to calm her down, and it becomes clear that the entity attacked her again while she was asleep. The following day, Dana questions Dr. Stengel about Eric Nelson. He explains that Eric first arrived at the hospital in 1972 as a patient. He had grown up in foster care and suffered severe abuse. Many of his injuries were self-inflicted, which forced the staff to keep his fingernails trimmed daily to stop him from harming himself. Over time, Eric seemed to improve. As an adult, he even requested a job at the hospital. Though he appeared cured, he developed a disturbing obsession. He would collect the fingernails of child patients, storing them in small envelopes instead of discarding them. Because of this, some staff members gave the nickname Nails. Dana then asks what eventually happened to him. Dr. Stengel reveals that in 1984, 5 young girls died under mysterious circumstances. Eric became the main suspect, but nothing could be proven. Shortly afterward, he took his own life. Terrified, Dana asks if Eric died in her room, but Dr. Stengel avoids answering. Later, Dana and Gemma speak over a video call. During the call, Dana notices that Ashley is in their house, which clearly bothers her. Soon after, Dana hears a loud noise in her room. She looks toward the cupboard and realizes something is trying to open it. Panic sets in as the door slowly moves. Then, Eric's ghost appears from inside the cupboard and begins walking toward her. At that moment, Trevor enters the room, but he can't see anything. He tries to calm Dana, believing she's imagining it. The next day, Dana shows Steve the camera footage, but he doesn't see anything unusual. Still convinced, Dana tells Gemma that Ellie might know something about nails and asks her to speak with her. Gemma goes to Ellie's room and asks about Eric. She notices Ellie slowly moving her finger. Suddenly, Ellie jerks upright, frightening Gemma, who quickly runs out. When others check on Ellie shortly after, she is already dead. Later, Trevor seals the cupboard, assuring Dana that nothing can come out of it. But Dana insists that whatever is haunting her is not human. It's something evil. She begs Trevor to help her leave and go home, but he refuses. Desperate for answers, Dana searches online to understand why she can see things that others cannot. She finds a video of a man explaining that after his accident, he began seeing a spirit. He says he had been dead for a few minutes, and that might be why he could see it. As the video plays, the spirit suddenly appears behind him. Next, Trevor goes to Elizabeth and tells her that when he visited Dana's room that night, he felt like he saw something. While they are still talking, there's a strange movement in the room, but Elizabeth dismisses it and tells him to leave. That night, Nails contacts Dana through her speech synthesis device. He tells her that she is going to die there and that no one will be able to save her. He then reveals something even more disturbing, that Steve and Ashley are having an affair, and shows her a video on her laptop as proof. Heartbroken, Dana watches in silence. As she breaks down emotionally, cut marks suddenly begin appearing on her legs. Terrified, she asks Nails what he wants from her. In response, he carves the words onto her body. "I miss you." Meanwhile, Trevor is sitting in his room when he hears a noise. He notices a shelf shifting slightly. When he opens it, he discovers Eric's file hidden inside. Looking through it, he finds an old record for Dana under her maiden name. Suddenly, his laptop turns on by itself. A live video feed begins playing. In the footage, Eric is seen emerging from a hole in the wall behind Trevor. But when Trevor turns around, there's nothing there. Then, in the video, Eric starts moving closer and suddenly attacks him. Elsewhere, Steve angrily confronts Elizabeth, accusing Trevor of harming Dana. Just then, Gemma and Ashley arrive. Steve then reveals to Dana that they found her decades-old file in Trevor's room. It shows that she had been admitted to this hospital as a child. At the same time, Eric Nelson murdered those 5 girls. Dana is shocked. She refuses to believe it and insists that Nails is the one attacking her, but Steve doesn't take her seriously. At the same time, Elizabeth calls the police to report the situation, but she is suddenly attacked by Nails as well. Dana then tells Steve that Nails showed her the truth about him and Ashley being together. As tensions rise, the lights in the room suddenly go out, and one by one, the lights across the entire hospital begin shutting down. Steve tells Gemma to stay put and goes outside to get help. Dana urges Gemma to leave too, but Gemma refuses. Instead, she insists on taking Dana with her. Dana, who has been slowly regaining strength and practicing breathing on her own, allows Gemma to remove the tracheal tube and place her into a wheelchair. Together, they rush to escape the hospital. Meanwhile, Steve sits in his car in the parking lot. Suddenly, he notices Ashley inside the car, but she is possessed. Without warning, she kills him. Back inside, Dana and Gemma see Nails approaching them. Terrified, they try to flee. They eventually reach Dr. Stengel, who attempts to take Dana back for treatment, but Nails appears behind him and kills him instantly. Now Nails advances toward them. Gemma tries to push Dana to safety, but Dana locks her out of the room. Alone, Dana confronts Nails. He grabs her by the throat, lifts her into the air, and violently slams her against the walls, killing her. Later, when emergency responders question Gemma about what happened, she says that Nails was responsible for killing her mother. In the final scene, we return to Dana's hospital room. Her laptop sits open on the bed, facing the camera. The shot slowly zooms in on the screen, showing a live feed of Dana lying in bed from one of the CCTV cameras. Then, in the reflection, Nails appears, now in human form. He walks up to her bedside and begins clipping her fingernails. And with that chilling image, the film comes to an end. Thanks for watching, and remember to turn on your notifications to watch more movie recaps like this one.